Yeah. Okay. Who was the oldest relative that you remember as a child?
Well, my grandfather, he got to be 89 on my mother's side. And then my grandmother on my father's side, she was up there. I think she was close to 89, if not there already. And Big Mama made it to, I think, 87. So, you know, there was a lot of them that were up there.
Did you ever meet Grandma Seeley?
No.
Never.
No, because, I mean, she was there before I was born.
Oh, okay.
Your grandfather on your father's side, what was his name?
My grandfather on my father's side?
Yeah.
No, I never knew
I
him.
thought that's what he said.
Alfonso?
Yeah, I've only heard the name.
Yeah, Alfonso.
And I wouldn't know what a picture looked like.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. And he had a twin brother I know too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you know about your family surname?
Banks? Well, Banks is an English name. How we got it, I don't know. I only assume that somewhere down there in Tennessee, the plantation owner, his name was Banks, and you know, there's a possibility that he might have been part of the lineage.
Right,
so.
right. Okay, what stories have come down about your parents, grandparents, and more distant ancestors?
Well, the way that my mother's family left Arkansas was the most striking one, and my grandmother's family, there was 7 sons, and what happened was one of them got into a headache, you know, some problems. Right. They was going to lynch him. Yeah. So all the 7 sons got in the buckboard with shotguns and rode through the town to the train station, waited for the train, put him on the train to St. Louis, and he came on to St. Louis, and they all eventually migrated up there, you know, over a period of time. Right. So that was a very big one. And the one about Grandma Seeley, she was loaned out from her plantation to the other plantation to do some cooking. Right. And the master at that one was going to try to tell her how to do it. Right. She knew how to do it, and she ended up hitting him in the head with the skillet. Right. And then walking home, and she told her master what happened. And he just said, "Well, just go on and do that." Yeah. And those kind of stories, you know, those kind of stories, you know, I tell my kids.
Are there any physical characteristics that run in the family?
Well, I mean, I think we're pretty typical, you know. Yeah, my mother was dark skinned, my father was light skinned, so we have half of the kids were dark skinned, half of them were light skinned. Right. Height wise, I was the tallest in the family. I was 6'1" at my tallest. My father was 5'10", and we ranged. Leroy was the shortest. I think Leroy was like 5'7", 8", or something like that. And then we ranged between that and 6'1". I don't think there was, you know, any distinctive thing. I think we were a pretty good looking family. So
that's true.
That's about it. I mean, my grandkids and all the kids, I think that we have some really beautiful people in this family. So.
Okay, what is the full name of your spouse and siblings?
Okay, you're talking about my current spouse or my first one?
You take it wherever you want to take it.
Well, like I said, in high school I met my first wife. Her name was Mary Lam. In Chinese it was Lam Beijing. And we had 3 kids, and the first one being Zuri Dafina Banks. Zuri Dafina means beautiful treasure. And the second one was Kimya Zawadi Banks, and that means silent gift, which she was never silent. And then the last one was Floyd Wendell Banks II. We called him Ace. So Zuri is going to be, was just made 38, and Kimmy 36, and Ace just made 31. Wow. And my second wife, me and Mary was married 10 years. We were together about 16 years because we started going together in high school when I was 16. Then we got divorced, and then 3 years later I met my second wife. Her name is Mary Dawn Litticoat, which is an English name. And her family lineage, they have a family tree. We know exactly where they came from. And so with her, we have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
We have one daughter, Dana Ray Banks, and she will be 18 on February 8th, 2008. And Jackson Dakota Banks, he'll be 17 on May 26, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngest one, which was a big surprise to us, he was born exactly 50 years and 1 month after I was.
Wow.
And his name is Michael Leroy Banks. And he was named, Michael is from my wife's brother who died when he was 36.
Mm-hmm.
And Leroy is after my little brother who died when he was 45.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, what do you believe is the key to a successful marriage?
I wish I knew. I'm still working on that. That's a hard one. I'm not going to pretend that God knows what that is about. Because all my marriages have been struggles. Let me tell you, it's been struggles from day one. I think that any 2 people could stay together if they both want to stay together and work to stay together. But when you have 2 people when you have 2 people, you have 2 different ideas about what's going on. And so you have to have compromise, but you have to have leadership. And, I believe in egalitarian relationships. But egalitarian relationships are harder, I think, to manage than if you have, just a patriarchal,
some domineering,
relationship. So, since like I say, I cook every day and I wash the clothes and stuff like that. I do a lot of domestic stuff. It's very difficult to maintain an even keel because, we live in a very sexist and misogynistic society, I believe.
Right.
And I think women who get a little bit of latitude, I think, and this is, I could be wrong, so I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about here, because I really don't. But I think they go a little bit more, further, than, they go overboard or something.
Right.
I'm just, and take that with a grain of salt, because I'll admit, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
That question, you got the wrong guy. I know that I like to be married, and I've been married almost all my adult life.
Yeah, me too.
And my current wife, we celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary last July 7th, 2007.
I remember that. I was at your house when you guys were on your honeymoon in '87, right?
Oh, back in '87, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been together for going on 25 years now. So, I mean, you might say, well, that's success. And I think that's success, but, what was the original question? How do you have a happy marriage?
What do you think is successful? What do you think it takes to make successful? And that's successful to me.
I think success means that you stay together, but I think to be ultimately successful,
you have to be happy. Right.
You have to be happy, and so happiness comes from within. Right. So I don't know. That's too tough of a question for me. I don't know enough.
Okay, we'll ask you that 10 years from now. Okay, what are some of your proudest moments as a parent?
My kids give me proud moments every day. I think my middle son had dyslexia when he was a kid. And when I discovered that he had dyslexia, the moment I found that, I mean, he was instantly my hero because he still was getting great grades. He was getting all B's. Yeah. But he was in a school that he was supposed to only get A's. Right. And they treated him so badly that it's a good thing that I have an even disposition. I would have killed somebody if they treated me. Right. So when I found that he had dyslexia and he was turning all those letters, all the letters were upside down and backwards, and he was doing them one by one. Wow. And for me, that was such a profound thing that he did that. I mean, he's always my hero since then. Right. I'm proud of all my kids. All my kids have, one thing is I'm very happy that they're all healthy and, they got all the fingers and toes and they're all smart and everything. I mean, I can say they give me something to be proud of every day. My youngest son just competed in a chess competition. He was number 5 out of 49. Wow. And he was only beaten by a guy in high school. Wow. He's in the 3rd grade.
Oh my goodness.
He spells his spelling words frontwards and backwards. So, you know, when you watch him, it's kind of hard not to be proud of every little thing that he does.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, I'm proud of them every day.
Here we go. Okay, of all the things you learned from your parents, what do you feel is the most valuable?
I think the most valuable thing is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I've modified that in my life to do unto others as they would have you do unto them.
Right.
And I think that's the main thing, and to be grateful, you know. And that's one thing that I think is wrong with a lot of people in our society today. They're not grateful.
Right.
And I think that I'm grateful every day.
Absolutely.
You know, this year, I'll be 60 years old,
Well,
and I don't have any catastrophic diseases.
Right, right.
I still do more chin-ups than my students.
Right, right.
I'm very grateful that, that I'm alive. I'm
Right.
grateful that I have 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
That I got a job, and that's one thing. I've never been unemployed in my life. I'm grateful for that.
Right.
That's
right.
to me. I mean, that may not sound like a great accomplishment.
That is a great accomplishment.
But that's one thing I'm really proud of. I've never been unemployed, and I've always made my way.
So that's some of the personal things. What are some of the other personal things, accomplishments that you're proud of? Personal. I mean, not to beat your own home, but I mean, there's things that people need to know.
I don't want to be boastful.
No, but
or anything
just
like that.
No.
Well, like I said, I was like I was one of the second and third black to graduate in marine biology. I was the first one to graduate in marine biology at San Francisco State, but the second or third, because 2 of us came through together, to get a marine science divers training program. We were divers at San Francisco State. Then I went to graduate school, and I was the only one from UCLA at the time that graduated in neurobiology, and to get a doctorate. And I got my doctorate in 5 years, which was much faster than the average.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't know if I'm proud would be the word, but I'm very glad that I was able to get through that and have a very wonderful life. I've lived in Los Angeles and Denver and Houston and Galveston and now in Chicago for 23.5 years. I don't know, just being in the area and doing these things. Right now I'm the chairman of the Department of Biological Sciences. I don't always use the word, I want to be proud about that, but I mean, it is an accomplishment. I am grateful that I'm able to do that, and I actually do a good job at it.
Right.
So, I don't know, my greatest accomplishments, I think, are my children. Just having them, and having them healthy, and happy, and stuff. I guess that's the main thing. Oh, well, you have to take your hat off to my father, because he had 9 kids, and 1 died in infancy, the one right after me, James. My father was a hard worker, and there's one thing he taught me. Now, Daddy didn't work too hard around the house. I can tell you that right now. And I don't think he'd mind me saying that, because he started a lot. See, one thing that I learned a lot of stuff from him, and I don't want to be negative towards him, but it was like a negative example. Like, he smoked. I have never smoked, because I could see where that was going. That was no good as a kid. But Daddy would start things like painting the house, get halfway and leave it, and then I would go and finish it. Because and so one thing that did for me is, like, whenever I start a project, I have to take it to completion. I can't let it sit there, you know what I mean? But he worked, during the Vietnam War, he worked 7 days a week, at least 10 hours a day for the whole 10 years of the Vietnam War.
Wow.
And I would see him get up every morning. He actually had a heart attack one day, got up and went to work.
Wow.
Because I didn't know about it. I got up and I saw blood in the bathtub, and I asked my mother, where did this blood come from? He said, your daddy, I think he had a heart attack, and he hit his head, and they got blood there, and he just went to work. And I said, why did he go to work? That's what he does. So a lot of my friends, when I was in high school, they would say, they had graduated and went to work for the shipyard. My father wanted me to work for the shipyard. And I said, no, I don't think so. He was really trying to get me to go out there. He tried to get all of us to go out there. Well, none of us would. We didn't want to do that.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, oh my God. But anyway, the thing about him, he was a hard worker. He instilled in me the need to always have a job, always work, and always take care of your family, because that's what he did. He was disciplinarian. Now, the thing is about him though, you know, when my mother would do that thing, would say, okay, you just wait till your daddy gets home. I'm telling you, daddy. Nobody wanted that to happen. So you would straighten that act out before he got there. Because see, my mother, like, she would like, if you didn't take out the garbage or something like that you're supposed to do, you'd be there laying there watching TV, she'd walk up on you and just have a belt and just whack you. And you could say, what did you do that for? But my father, you didn't want him to get started because once he got wound up in that process, you know, he would just wear you out.
Yeah.
So, you know, the positive things that my father, like, they bought me a car when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
You know, this you have to. Yeah, when I look back and I said, dang, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
And he worked very, very hard. A lot of the guys who graduated before me say, oh, your daddy just rides around on a bicycle over there. And I said, yeah, but you don't know how many years he worked very hard. And you know, if that's all he's doing all day over there, he's there. He's at work. See, he showed me the value of getting to work on time. My father, I remember the time that it snowed in San Francisco. This was back in 1960.
75? Oh.
No, back in 1960. And I got up early and I looked out. And believe me, this is on a weekend.
Yeah.
Here's my father, and I could see all the way to Alamany and Sickles because that's before they built all that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I could see there was no freeway there.
Right.
At Alamany and Sickles, I could see my father turning onto Alamany, going to work. I got up really early that morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so that always made me want to, at least whenever I had a job, I always did that job. Mm-hmm. That job was done. And even now, there's one thing that people say about me. If the task is before me, it's going to get done.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to come back and check.
Right.
It's done. And so, I think that was the main thing that my father, he gave up of himself. Mm-hmm. He sacrificed himself in a lot of ways to make sure that his kids had everything that they needed. And we had everything that we needed. I mean, I had musical instruments. I had a clarinet that I used to play, and I got that. We had a piano. They gave Leroy a trumpet that he just didn't do anything with.
Violin.
Huh?
There was violin.
There was a violin, yeah. Madeline, I think Madeline and Martha had the violin.
Mm-hmm.
We had piano lessons. We did, everything, the whole gamut we had. And that's because both of them were workers, and they were workers in every sense of the word. And I think those are the things that he gave to me. And, having gone through a divorce and having been married for so many years now, and, cumulative over 30 years now, I know how hard it is to stay married. And then, and the thing is, see, I make a lot more money proportionally than he made back then. I don't have money problems. But back then, I remember when the insurance man would come, my mother would say, go tell him that I don't have it today, that kind of stuff. And I used to hate that. God, I hated that. But I couldn't imagine being in that situation. And my father, he stuck it out. Mm-hmm. He stuck it out. It's just inspirational that he was able to stick that out and see it through to the end. See it through so that all his kids had the opportunity to go to college.
Right.
Even Norman, my father, tried to get Norman to go to college. No, he knew more. He went to the military.
Course, yeah.
So, but Celia, got pregnant, and but Celia was very, very smart. She,
right.
She should have went to college because she was so very smart.
Mm-hmm.
And Madeline went to college, but I don't know. I guess she didn't like it after a while. Martha, I don't know, wasn't encouraged by education. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing is that every one of us were different. And every one of us needs, I think, were met in certain ways. In certain ways not met, but in certain ways were. But like I said, for my father, his greatest gift to me was the desire to remain employed and remain a contributing member of society. And my father didn't, he smoked, but my father didn't drink heavily. I mean, he drank after he retired. But before that, he didn't. All he did was smoke. He came home every day after work. I think, and that's, I try to follow that because I come home every day after work.
Right,
I don't go running in the streets and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think he put the family first. Mm-hmm. And I think that's for me. I put the family first. And I think that that would be the main thing that I learned from him. But like I said, the main thing that he was a worker, and he was productive all the time, and You know, my father never got a new car until after all these kids were out of the house.
Yeah, yeah,
He always had old cars,
yeah, yeah.
you know? And I know a lot of other people would have brand new cars and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I know he could have went and got one because he was
Right.
working the same job as they were working.
Right,
But that wasn't a priority for him.
right.
So he would get used cars.
Mhm.
And I remember when he got that Pontiac Bonneville, it was a red Pontiac Bonneville. And I was in college, and I came home one day and I watched, because I would wash my car over there. And then I waxed my car, and his car was looking not good, because he usually kept them up, but I think he was trying to wait for a new car. And so I waxed that Bonneville, and then when I waxed that bad boy, it looked brand new.
Right.
And you know, he was appreciative of that. He liked the fact that it was
Clean,
looking like that.
yeah.
But I mean, things like that. He didn't, he could have spent his money on himself.
Mhm.
He spent it on us.
Mhm. What about his athleticism?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, when I was living down in Double Rock, he used to, Gilman Park, he used to play baseball. Well, that's one of the things we did, was
Right.
go down there and see him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know we got our athletic ability from him.
Mhm.
And we were always in athletics.
Mhm.
We always were on teams, and
He's a good golfer.
yeah, he tried to get us to do golf. I just never got into it. Yeah, he was good in all those sports and
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
And everybody, all his buddies seemed to like him.
Right, right.
And they would all, you have, a guy is real like when his friends come over.
Right,
And
right.
there was always a stream of guys
Mhm.
coming over, sitting around talking and stuff.
Mhm.
He had his friend, Mr. Dew.
Mhm.
They were, Mr. Dew was quite a character, but I think that was his most ace boon coon.
Right.
And, you could tell that he really respected my father, and there was mutual respect. So I don't know, just how to treat people, I think, and how to interact with people. I think that's what I learned from
Okay.
him, you know.
All right. All right, you got any more questions, Mr. Banks?
Sure.
You got 1 minute.
1 minute. As an elder in the family, you have a certain strength that I think everybody could learn from. Where do you reach from to get this? I mean, how is it?
I cringe at the thought of being an elder in the family.
Well, you are.
Yeah, well, let me give you reality.
I'm cringing right along with you because I'm coming.
Hey, I'm
But,
going there
I
myself.
don't know. I just, like I said, all these things that I've learned, and one of the things that I always did, why I was good in school, I always wanted to make my mother proud, and I think that was one of my driving